For those of you that don't know me, I'm James Mann. I oversee our SMG Canada program. I also work on a lot of marketing and agent partnership management for really all of our programs, J1, F1, Canada. I help with Europe from time to time. So you can always reach out to me with any various questions. But today I'll be focusing on our Canadian high school program. We have worked very hard over the last 10 plus years to develop this program. I think I see a lot of familiar names in our participants list, so I think many of you are quite familiar with this program. But for those of you that are more new to it, it is one of our newer offerings comparing to our United States programs, although not quite as new as Europe. And we've been seeing a lot of growth on this program over the last few years. So we've been really, really proud of not only the number of students that we're receiving, but the success that they're having and the experiences that we're seeing, our students really enjoy for their program. Before I get into anything, I'd like to introduce you to our wonderful team because I certainly cannot take credit for a lot of what we've accomplished over the last few years. I have to give props and credit to our fantastic team. So I manage our marketing and sales, and I will be reviewing some details of the program today, and we will have some of our district partner representatives also join us after my presentation to give you some more specifics about their individual destinations. But before we do that, I do want to introduce some of our team. So you've met Brian McCready. He works on the finance side of things for our Canadian program. He also assists and directs with some operations. But then we also have Megan McCready as our program manager. She has worked with the program for very long. Meg, are you here? Are you able to just say hello?
Hi, I'm here.
Hey, Meg, can you just introduce yourself briefly, explain a little bit of what you do for us? I know there's a lot, and we do have a little bit of extra time, but not that much extra time. So just a little bit of what you do and a little introduction of yourself, please.
Wow, James putting me on the spot. I didn't know I'd be talking.
I love to do that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan. As James mentioned, I'm the program manager of SMG Canada. I pretty much oversee all the day-to-day, many emails that we get. So everything from applications through student issues, questions while your students are on the program. Anything really after that initial inquiry with James, where he'll set you up with the district and you start that application process. That's where Matt and I come in. Um, yeah, any kind of questions that you guys have are usually directed towards our Canada alias, and then you'll primarily hear from Matt or I, and we try to get back to you as quickly as possible. But again, if you use that Canada email, it goes to everybody. So someone will be getting back to you ASAP, depending on what the question is. But yeah, that's really it.
Thank you, Meg. And Meg also has an adorable young son and an adorable puppy. So every once in a
Oh
while,
yeah.
if you catch her on the right day, you get a good photo of the puppy or
Oh
the
yes.
the young boy.
Always happy to share pictures.
Thank you, Meg. Matt, are you here as well? Just to introduce yourself, Matt is our program coordinator, and he assists Meg with a lot of those day-to-day tasks.
Yes, I am here. Hi, everyone. So very similar to Meg, actually. I handle a lot of the day-to-day stuff when it comes to applications, student issues. Also, again, like while your students here are on the program. And yeah, I've still not fairly new, but been here about a year and a half. But yeah, it's just been awesome, and I've really enjoyed getting to know all of you guys and helping out all your students.
And
Thank you,
just
Matt.
to not to backtrack too much, but Matt also being our newest member, which has been a great addition to our team. For those of you that have dealt with us on the SMG Europe program, which we just presented on, he is part of the Europe team as well. So he's learning a lot and growing immensely very quickly, and we're very happy to have him on both of those teams.
Thank you. Thank you. Very happy to
Well,
be here.
thank you guys. Thank you, Matt. As Meg mentioned, I want to reiterate, we do have a team email. So the Canada at student-management.com email address goes to all four people. that you see here on this slide. That is always the best way to reach us because we do divide and conquer on a lot of the tasks that we have. Anytime you have any student inquiries, new student inquiries, or questions about one of our new schools or districts, you can always contact me. But again, it's easier to just email the team email and one of us will respond because all of us get those emails. And so if you send a query about a new student, I'll respond. If you send about an existing student, you'll likely hear from Meg or Matt. And if you send something about invoicing or maybe some other topics, you would hear back from Brian. But just emailing that team email makes it much more streamlined, much easier for us, and ensures that we can get back to you as quickly as possible. So moving on, let me get into the program. I think many of you that are experienced with high school programs know that in many cases you can work directly with the school district. So one of the things I always like to highlight is what separates SMG Canada from our competitors. Over the last almost 11 years that I've been working for SMG and developing this program, we've worked really hard to ensure that we're only offering the best schools, the best areas, both public and private schools throughout Canada. So I have visited nearly every single one of our schools and school districts personally to not just see the schools, but also vet the areas, the communities. I've met with some of the host families that our students will stay with. So we have ensured that on this program, and when you see our list, it's quite extensive, the schools and the districts that we're working with are going to be offering not only very safe, but very enjoyable, beneficial experiences for the students. It's been a great privilege to get to visit many of these places because they are some very beautiful destinations that we offer throughout Canada. We have been working with this program, as I said, for over 10 years. So we have a lot of experience managing student programs for the Canadian high schools. We have worked with close to 60 school districts over these years, as well as probably close to 20 private schools at this point. So it's a wide variety of options. And all throughout Canada, we go from the East Coast to the West Coast. And we've really, really had great success on working with this program. And I think those of you that have sent students to SMG Canada in the past have seen how our experience really speaks for itself. We've dealt with, well, we like to think we've dealt with almost everything, although sometimes we even can still be surprised by some things. But we really have worked hard to make sure that the experience, not just for our students, but for our partners, is superior. And we do that through our marketing, our support, and making sure that we always have comprehensive and fast service. So as I said, if you email that team email, you can almost always expect to hear back from us in a very short period of time. We want to make sure that we support our partners and their students as quickly and as well as possible. Because we have worked with this program for very long and we send very many students to various school districts throughout Canada, we do find that our SMG students tend to get some special support and we get some extra spaces and capacity and sometimes some exceptions and competitive pricing in many of these places, which again, I think makes our program really, really attractive to agencies that are looking to expand their offerings in Canada. So in general, I'm going to speak generally about the program. We will have some of our school districts come and give you details about their specific communities, their schools. But for my portion, I want to talk about the overall program of SMG Canada. And there's so much that we offer with this program. And so we can really consider students of all types. We offer programs for students ages 11 to 19. I have an asterisk there because there can be exceptions for even younger and sometimes even older students. One of the things I always try to do with this program is accommodate all requests, or at least attempt to accommodate all requests. Our students in most of our programs in Canada will stay with caring and supportive host families. We do have some boarding options available. However, most of our programs that we offer in Canada are going to be with paid host families throughout the country. We do have both public and private schools, as I mentioned. Some of those private schools are boarding schools, some of them are day schools, and we do even have some public schools with boarding accommodations, although the overwhelming majority of them are homestay. We have very flexible program lengths, so we can take students from, in some cases, as short as 1 month up to 4, 5, or even 6 years. We see most of our students doing semester or academic year programs, but we have supported short-term as well as much longer-term multi-year programs in the past. One of the great benefits of the Canadian high school program is that students can return year after year, whether they're attending public school or private school. We do see it very often that our students that originally enroll for either short-term programs or semester or even academic year tend to extend. And that I think is often a very representative, a good indicator of how successful this program is. Most students that come want to stay, especially the ones that are only enrolled for a short period of time. They often decide they don't want to leave and they extend their programs. And we see that every single year with SMG Canada. You've heard about a lot of different programs over the last 2.5 days. There's still some more information I know from St. Thomas More that will be presented tomorrow. But this is one of our choice programs. So similar to the F1 public and F1 private choice in the United States, where the students are able to choose. And in SMG Canada, we, I believe, offer unmatched flexibility and choice. And what I mean by that is the students are able to choose not only the specific school district that they want to attend, but often the specific school within the school district. Many of our districts have various schools in their community. We have them all listed in our brochures and in the system, Xlink, where you complete applications, and you are able to, and we encourage you to elect 3 school preferences when your students are applying, and they can choose those preferences based on any number of interests that they may have. So if they're an athlete and they're looking to play a certain sport, we have almost every known sport practiced in at least one of our school districts across Canada. Many of our schools offer ESL programs, which allow us to consider students of any English ability. We have a variety of specialty programs, AP courses, IB, and specialty academies offered in many of our schools, and we outline that information in our brochures, and that's something that I'm always available to you guys to advise further on when you have requests. We do allow natural family to visit students while they're on their program throughout the year, and students are also able to return home at any time. So some of those limitations that we face with the US programs, particularly that J1 program in the United States, are not limitations that we face on this program. So it offers additional flexibility in that way. We are able to accept students with allergies, dietary restrictions, mild disabilities. We want to be as inclusive as possible. It's something that I've been very proud of with this program as we've grown over the years, is our ability to support students that were unable to find programs in other destinations or with other organizations. Because we work with so many different school districts and I work so closely with them as well as the private schools, we're often able to find solutions for very specific requests because we have really a deep Rolodex, you could say, or really a diverse portfolio of options that we can offer students. So it allows us to really find solutions for students that might have some sort of special requirement. We also offer rolling admissions, so there's no particular application deadline. We accept students all throughout the year. Of course, as we get later into the season, availability and flexibility is diminished. So one of the great things about this program is I can accept applicants at any time of the year. However, our list of 60 school districts and 15 private schools gets smaller and smaller as we get closer to the arrival dates of the program that your student is seeking. So of course, early applications are always encouraged because it allows us the flexibility to guarantee specific schools, courses, academies, and things like that. But if you have a late applicant and they're at least a little bit flexible on where they get to go or where they're assigned, we can still accept those students as well. So it gives us, it really extends the sales season for this program in that we can really always be considering students for any intake at any time. Graduation is available on this program. We have quite a few students that graduate. Our general guideline is 2 years for graduation. However, we do have a few destinations where we can review the transcripts, review the student's profile, and outline a graduation plan that can be as short as 1 academic year. And we do support validations for any students that require it as well. So our schools, again, I'll speak generally, but I have had the great privilege and opportunity to visit many of our schools personally, walk the halls, meet some of the teachers, see the classrooms, meet some of the students. And I'm really, really proud of the quality of the schools that we offer. The schools that we're sending our students to are modern, they're well equipped with the newest educational technologies, they have renovated facilities, plenty of capacity for students to ensure that they're in a comfortable learning environment. But one of my favorite things, of course, I say this often when I see schools, a classroom is a classroom, and in many cases that is true. But my favorite part of visiting schools on our Canadian high school program is often getting to meet the teachers that are standing outside their classrooms or whose classrooms we go into to walk around a little bit. I find in Canada are always so passionate. They're eager to welcome more international students. They're happy to meet me because I'm introduced to someone that brings them international students. And they're often so enthusiastic about the past experiences they've had supporting international students, but also their Canadian students. These teachers at these schools across Canada where we're sending our students are truly passionate about their profession and passionate about supporting these students and helping them to grow. So, if you have students that are looking for a really comprehensive but also personal experience in their education, I find that the teachers across Canada, I think, really provide that. We work with a large variety of schools, so that means there's a large variety of sizes of schools. We have schools as small as 200 to 300 students, and then schools as large as 2,000 plus, and with sizes everywhere in between in that range. So that's the type of thing. If you have a student looking for a specific school size or a certain environment, that's something we can always look at, and we can work with you to try and match them to something that suits their preferences as much as possible. We have dedicated support staff and resources available on site at all schools. Our school partners that we work with really dedicate a lot of resources, and that includes staff and personnel to ensure that the students are having a safe and successful experience. And we see that now for over 10 years, having sent hundreds, over probably thousands of students at this point to Canadian high schools to some of them are looking to graduate, some of them might need some extra counseling on other things, and we find that they always have the support that they need at the schools that we're working with. And as I said before, there are specialty programs and academies available at most of our schools. That includes often AP courses. We also have some IB schools. But there are also specialty programs like aviation programs, art programs, design programs. We have academies for athletics. We have academies for other specialty types of vocational pursuits for students. So, for your students that are looking to discover themselves and learn new things and try new things, or even just hone an existing skill, we find that the schools that we work with on this program offer a lot of opportunities for our students to do that. Host families are, of course, a very important component of any international student program if a student is attending a day school, and that's another aspect of this program that I'm very proud of. Again, we work with many different districts and many different schools and destinations, but we have found that there is a minimum level of quality from our partners in the way that they assist us in securing host families, vetting them, and then supporting the students that ensures our students are safe and successful. And with the host families, every family is very thoroughly screened. They pass criminal background checks. Most of our host families are in upper middle class neighborhoods. It does depend on the area that you go to. Of course, in more urban destinations, you're going to find more diversity in terms of the areas that we place in. But we do have many of our districts in suburbs of major cities or resort communities, and you'll find that those are very, very safe, very welcoming areas. And many of our host families that our students are living with have hosted previously. So there's a long history of successful international student programs for high school students in Canada. So there's a great awareness amongst the Canadian families that they have this opportunity to welcome international students. And what I've seen now over the last 10 plus years of managing this program is that many of the host families our students are living with have hosted 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in the past, so they have tons of experience. They know how to manage an international student. They know how to make them feel welcome, and they know how to help them have the best experience possible and make the most of their semester or academic year or however long they're going to be with us on our program. We find that our Canadian host families are very active and enjoy a healthy lifestyle. So we hear from a lot of our students that they go on skiing trips, snowboarding, hiking, biking, rock climbing with their host families. So that's something that I like to highlight, is that these host families are very engaged with our students, and they often are also very active. Of course, our families are expected to provide all of our students with a clean and comfortable home. All of our students get a private bedroom, as well as full boarding, which means they have all their meals provided each day. We also are able to accommodate specific dietary restrictions and allergies. We do need to know in advance that they have these restrictions, and we can work with you to make sure we secure them a host family that can accommodate that. And in many cases, there would be additional fees. So as long as we're aware of exactly what they need, I can explain to you guys in more detail on a case-by-case basis what we're able to do and any additional costs that would come along with that. So who can apply? Really, any students that are looking for a life-changing experience in a different country. I know I had opened the presentation to say how we strive to make this an inclusive program, and I truly mean that. So we want students that are looking for an experience, but they don't necessarily have to be straight A students. They don't have to be students with university aspirations, although we can accommodate that type of request as well. We just want students that are open-minded, adaptable, and looking to experience a new culture, improve their English, and get an education in a different country. So we really want to be as inclusive as possible for our students. As I said, we can take ages 11 to 19 with some exceptions. The majority of our students are ages, I would say, 15 to 18. That's typically how old the students that come on our program tend to be, but we have accepted younger students in some cases, as well as older students. We can take students of any English ability. So as long as we have an understanding of their capabilities, and we do have some English evaluations that we ask them to do as part of the application process, we can make sure that we match them with the right school, the right area that can support them in their language development. So many of our schools, as I said before, do have ESL. So we are really able to take students with low levels of English if necessary and still ensure that they have success. And as I said before as well, we can take students with specific requirements. That means dietary needs and allergies, but we've dealt with some more specific things as well in the past. So as my philosophy applies for all SMG programs, and especially for Canada, never hesitate to ask. It can't hurt to ask me. You can always rely on me to be very honest and direct with you as to whether or not I think we can accomplish something. And if I'm not sure, I will tell you that as well. And I will ask you if you can give me some time to work with some of our school districts and our schools to find solutions. But I will always try to find something for any student that you may have that's interested in the program. So once they decide they're going to apply for SMG Canada, we use our online database for now, Xlink. All of our schools and district documents are integrated into this system. So no matter which school or school district you are applying to for SMG Canada, you're able to complete it in our online application system. You're able to select the school preferences. All the documents that are needed for homestay and school district enrollment are integrated into the system. It's very streamlined. It's very easy. We've spent a lot of time, and I have to, again, give a lot of credit to Megan and Matt and Brian, because they have managed this over the last few years and improved it significantly, in that our application system is now really quite comprehensive to include all of our schools' documentation, all of the information about them, and you're able to really manage the whole process in one system. And for those of you that work with us on J1 and F1 programs, you're already quite familiar with Xlink, so it's really a very seamless transition to work with us on the Canadian program as well. We are very proud of how quickly we process applications as well. You can tend to or expect to hear from us typically within 1 week of submitting the application. Of course, it depends on the timing. If you're applying now for September of 2026, you're pretty far in advance, so it may be a little bit longer than that. But if you're applying now for February of 2026, you can expect to hear from us probably within a day because we understand that the timing is tight there and that we need to move quickly. But it's a fast process. It's a streamlined process. We also have a very, very high acceptance rate. That's another thing I'm very proud of because we do so much work in advance of the application to consult with you guys and ensure that a student is choosing the right school or school district for them. That often by the time we get to the application step, we already know that the school or the school district are going to accept the student unless there's some new information that comes to light that nobody was accepting. So we're very, very proud of our extremely high acceptance rate. I think, count on one hand, probably half of one hand, how many students I've seen actually be denied from our Canadian program over the last 10 plus years. So just to review some program highlights here for you guys. Flexibility, of course, is something that we really put a lot of emphasis on, and that ties into choices, and more choices because we do work with so many different schools, so many different school districts and destinations that I feel that we can accommodate any request, any type of student, as long as we're given enough information and enough time to look into it. Of course, I always want to highlight the great outdoors. All of the districts, there will be few presenting today, offer access to amazing activities in their local areas. There's often skiing, mountain climbing, hiking, biking, fishing, and more. That's one of the wonderful things about Canada as a country is the natural landscapes, the different climates that your students can experience. And it's something that I think we should be highlighting for any students considering coming to Canada. We have excellent academics and athletics at our schools. I have seen so many of our international students from all over the world come, integrate into these schools, excel academically, excel on the athletic teams, be in the local newspapers and playing at high levels, mid levels, or low levels. We see our students really excel when they engage at school, and that's either academically, athletically, or both. There's a variety of extracurriculars that they can pursue as well. So all types of students can find success and pursue their passions on these programs. Because we're offering so many different options, we have programs for pretty much every budget and every term length. So again, if a student's looking for a short-term experience, a medium length experience, or a long-term experience, we have various options that we can offer them. And then finally, the last thing is the SMG service. And for me, that comes at every step of the program. In the beginning, when you're looking for options for your students, or you're learning about the program, or you're looking for recommendations, I will be able to assist you through that process. I work very closely with our school districts and our schools to confirm what they have available for students, where they have strengths in certain programs that we should highlight in certain areas. So when we have students that want to achieve something specific, whether it be an academic goal or an athletic goal or something else entirely, we are able to support you guys through that process, make sure you're choosing the right school district, match the student with the right program to ensure that when they arrive in Canada, they have the experience that they were looking for and they find success and are able to really enjoy themselves and pursue their passions. I want to encourage all of you to never hesitate to reach out if you need anything with this program. I answer big questions, small questions, there's no bad question about our program. And in over 10 years now of managing this program, I think I've managed or dealt with most types of requests. So I have a lot of experience now to look back on of students that have actually come and done certain sports and graduated and look to go on to university or do horseback riding or snow sports or whatever it might be. We have a lot of experience dealing with these programs and with a lot of the schools that we're working with, and we can match your students accordingly and give you the information and highlight the right things for you to help you also finalize your sales and prepare the students to be successful on the program. Some updates before we move on to our specific schools. We do have availability for both February 2026 late applicants at this time. In fact, some of the districts that are going to be presenting today, I believe, still have some space as well for February. And then for September of 2026, we have space at nearly every school district and school on our list. I've added a few schools this year and last year. In fact, one of our guests today is one of our newer partners, Coast Mountains, and Joe will be presenting. And we've been working with them for just a couple of years now. And that's a newer destination, as well as the Algonquin and Lakeshore Catholic District School Board. Those are both newer programs for us, but I think not this year, but this is the second, third year we're offering them. And then we have some longtime partners as well that are going to be joining us to present their areas and their school districts. We do have short-term and graduation programs available, as I've mentioned now a couple of times, but the graduation programs are something that I always ask that when you have a student interested in graduating, you provide us with as much information about that individual student as possible, and then we can outline a plan. My general guideline is it takes 2 years, but we do have many instances where students are able to graduate in 1 year under the right circumstances. We are going to be resuming our Toronto orientation this year. We haven't offered it the last couple of years because of COVID and a few other things, but we are really excited to be resuming this program this year. This is an optional program election for any students that are attending an SMG Canada high school program, or if you have a student going to Canada not through SMG, we can still offer them this orientation. We have built this and developed this program in a similar philosophy or a similar idea to what we did with the New York orientation. So students will come, they do 4 days and 3 nights in Toronto. They do professionally guided tours as well as self-exploration tours for 2 full days. They go all over Toronto, but they also will take a day trip to beautiful Niagara Falls. I've seen many of these sites myself, and it's a great opportunity for students, particularly students that are going to other areas of Canada, to see one of the more famous Canadian cities. We're offering it this year from August 25th to August 28th, so we tried to select dates that will align with as many school districts' arrivals as possible. We can work with you guys on a case-by-case basis to ensure your students can participate. But this is a great opportunity for students to get to experience an amazing city before they go on to, their more standard academic program at one of our schools in Canada. I can no longer fit all of our school districts on this map. So this gives you an idea of some of the districts that we're offering in the areas that we're covering. I have bolded on this slide the districts that are going to be presenting for us today. So you see we have a few from British Columbia and a few from Ontario. We're very excited for you guys to hear directly from the school districts. As I said, I'm often speaking with them almost daily about different student requests and different students that we're working with and agencies as well. But it's, I think, also very beneficial for you guys to hear from them directly. They obviously are rooted in their communities. These representatives have worked for their schools and lived in their communities and deal with the students on a daily basis. So they can offer you, I believe, and myself, an insight into their area that is invaluable. So we're very, very excited to have a few of them with us today. I believe I'm at the end of my slot here. I might have a minute or two for questions, but I will also be glad to take questions at the end after the schools finish presenting. If there are any questions in the chat, I'm just going to check right now. Do we have any questions? No. Okay. Well, if you think of anything, you can just post it in there. But I think at this point, I want to hand off to our first school district presenter, which is going to be Kirsten Ramsay from the Lambton Kent District School Board in Ontario. I saw her join. Yes, I did. We have worked with Kirsten and her program in Lambton, Kent for many, many years. In fact, she was one of the first people that I met when starting to develop our Canadian program, one of the first school districts that I worked very, very closely. So we've known each other a very long time. I'm very glad that she's able to join us today. Let's see if I can spotlight Kirsten. There we go. Okay. It's good to see you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, and I can hear you. It's nice to see a
Perfect.
familiar face. Thank you so much for joining us. I don't want to take any more of your time. I'm realizing I already am eating into your very short 15 minutes, so I'm going to pass off to you and take the reins. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, please don't worry. I'll do a general overview. I've got pictures because you'll hear a lot of me talking, but I think pictures say a lot more. And I'm just going to try and share my screen if that's okay. And there we go. Okay.
Good.
Perfect. You can see it? All okay?
All good.
All
Thank you.
good. Technology's on my side. Thank goodness. Okay. So as James mentioned, we've worked together for a long time. SMG is a treasured partner of ours, and we are in contact a lot, right, James? And that is great. I think that part of what SMG do really well is the communication. And I heard James giving some advice about really giving a lot of information about the student so you can find the right program, etc. And I think that's something that SMG does very well. And we appreciate it as a school board as well, because that way we can get a complete picture of what the student is expecting and try and match that as much as possible. So we're a public school board in Southern Ontario. And if you look at the map, the world map here, the very tip that goes surrounded by the Great Lakes, that's us. We are about 1 hour from Detroit, 3 hours south of Toronto. And we are made up of a couple small cities and small communities. So we are a school district that covers quite a large geographical area. We're what we would call probably a small to medium-sized program. We have about 100 international students, but we're quite diverse. And you can see here, this is currently the countries that are studying with us at this time in our program. And we're very proud of the diversity because Lambton Kent District School Board got into this so that we could bring the world to our classrooms. We know that it's good for all students to gain global competencies. And so the school board has really asked me to bring in a lot of diversity and work on integration. So students who are coming to Lambton Kent really want to be part of their school, part of the community, part of their homestay. That is our focus. And you'll see as I go through my presentation that is where we've got lots of supports in place. And that is what we try and do for every student. So I often get asked why students would choose Lambton Kent versus going to a big city. Again, there is a program for every student. So we usually want students coming to our program who want a true Canadian experience and an English immersion experience. They're not going to find hundreds of international students at each of our schools. Our biggest school has about 1,200 students, and the maximum amount of international students at that school would be 30. So the opportunities for integration are there. So students would choose Lambton Kent if they really want to have a true English Canadian immersion experience. A few unique things about Lambton Kent: we will accept students who are 18, even 19 years old, as long as they don't turn 20 while they're with us. So if students are looking for a gap year after grade 12, they can come and join us, and we would encourage them in the same way to get involved in different optional courses at their schools. We will allow students to graduate with us in 1 year. And I know James spoke a little bit about graduation. We will allow that, and we would work with the student and SMG and yourselves to make sure that the student is lined up for that when they're coming. So those are the type of students that would work well in Lambton, Kent. And this is our area. So as I mentioned, we are made up of 2 small cities. Chatham is a city of 45,000 people. Sarnia is a city of 75,000 people. So they're small cities, but they have everything. The kids are going to find movie theaters, bowling alleys, places to go for coffee, shopping, etc. But it's a smaller community, and many of our students walk or bike to school. If they live farther than 3.2 kilometers from school, they do get a school bus. We are surrounded by the Great Lakes, so you can see that we have a lot of water around us, which also means we don't have very cold winters. We do get snow, but then it melts, and then we get snow and then it melts. So it's kind of variable. So students who are looking for skiing, we're not the place because we don't get cold enough and we don't get enough snow. We are very close to the US border. So students who are placed in Sarnia, for example, look across the Blue Water Bridge and they will see Port Huron, Michigan. Students who are placed in Chatham are 45 minutes from the border and Detroit. So we're very much close to the US border. I would say right now, not as many of our students are going over the border because we're trying to be careful with visas, etc., and some of the challenges that may come with students in Canada going across to the US, but there have been opportunities to go across the border. Again, we're surrounded by provincial parks, so the opportunity to do lots of outdoor things, like James mentioned, is here as well, and lots of historic sites in the area as well. As I mentioned, we work on real integration, and our students are eligible for awards and recognition. They're on school teams, they're in the school play, they're part of art gallery opportunities, they're winning math contests. Every student is encouraged to participate in at least one extracurricular activity per semester. And we will have our team help the students find those opportunities as well, because integration's where they meet their friends. If they're depending on just classes, it's going to be hard to make Canadian friends. But if they get involved in extracurricular and in their school, then they will make Canadian friends. And they do get recognized for the big impact that they make on our schools. And the students are involved in pretty well everything. A couple of things I want to highlight here because they've been highlights for students. You can see the picture of the students all around a car in one of our schools. They build a racing car. So in recent years, when students have been really into F1 racing, they like the option of taking transportation technology and also being involved in the racing car club, where they build the racing car and then they're part of the pit crew when a professional driver is hired to take their car out. Another thing that is very popular in one of our schools, we have an international friendship club that every 6 weeks, Canadian students, international students get together for potlucks, etc. And you can see the picture in the middle on the bottom. That's one of the activities that they really enjoy as well. Because we're not in the big city, we know that when students come to us, they may want to see other parts of Canada. That's part of the Canadian immersion experience. So we offer lots of activities, field trips, etc. So each semester, we offer opportunities to go to Toronto and Niagara Falls. We also have monthly activities like hockey games, being part of the Christmas parade, Christmas crafts. You can see there's water activities near us because we're near the Great Lakes, pumpkin carving. Really, the list goes on and on. This is a way to keep the kids busy. So my philosophy is if you keep kids busy, they're not homesick, and also they're making friends. And so if your students are saying that they're bored while they're with us, it's probably because they haven't gotten involved in their school or in our international program activities. And we will continue to poke them to get them involved in what we're doing. We work with Canada Homestay. A big difference is I am custodian, and that's because many years ago, I started my career as a homestay coordinator. I understand that homestay is a vital part of the international experience. So I'm in daily contact with Canada Homestay. We meet with them once a week as well to go over any issues. It's much easier to deal with issues when they're small versus when they're big. So we work through those issues before a move needs to take place. But of course, if a move needs to take place, then we would work with SMG yourselves to make sure that student feels supported in that process. We have all types of families. We have families with young children, no children. We have single moms, single dads, same-sex couples. It's really important that students put a lot of information on their application because we want to try and find that good match and meet expectations. There's less trouble if we meet expectations. There's lots of supports in our program. It's something we're very proud of. We often say that our program is about providing lots of support to students, a real personalized experience, getting to know the students so they know us and we know them. My whole team has studied, lived, or worked abroad, which is a really important part of the understanding that we provide for the students. So on my team, there's myself as the coordinator, as the administrator. I have a guidance counselor just for international students. And I also assign a coordinator to each student. And they'll have that information before they come. This is their frontline support, and that person visits them every second week in school just to see how things are going. And sometimes, you know, the coordinator will also go and watch them in the school play or watch them play tennis. And we try and send pictures back that way as well. We have school staff involved, relationship managers through Canada Homestay, and of course, the homestay families are a wonderful support for the students. And this is my team here. As I mentioned, we have all studied, lived, and worked abroad. So we come to the table with a different understanding and support for the students. Also, you will see that my team speak a variety of languages, and that's another important thing. We can often go, if we don't have the languages, then we can find someone in the school board that can come to the table if we need translation. You know, sometimes if kids are emotional, we need a little bit more support that way. So we will come to the table that way. And yeah, that's us in a nutshell. And I think I have like 2 minutes in case there's questions. So I kept it within my time limit, James.
You did great. You did great. I don't see any questions just yet, and I apologize if you mentioned it already, but can you clarify availability for this coming February? Or do we still have some spaces?
Yeah, we have space for February, and we also offer an April intake, which has become a little bit more popular. So we have spaces for both of those intakes as well as September. The only thing we can't accommodate at this time is gluten-free celiac because it seems to be the year of that request. And so we're full that way.
And do you have any estimated deadline for February that we should try to adhere to?
We try and have all of the applications in kind of by Christmas time to give Canada Homestay the chance to match up the students. We like to make sure students are matched up early enough that they can communicate before they come. So I would say by Christmas holidays, if we have the applications in, that would be great. But if there is any requests and if that needs to be changed, we can chat.
Fantastic. And I would just add that I've worked with Kirsten many times for late applicants, and her team is so quick with issuing documents and getting everything arranged that don't worry if you have a late applicant. We can make things work usually very quickly with your program.
Perfect. Perfect. Thanks so much for having me. As I mentioned, SMG is a treasured partner of ours,
Thank
and
you.
we've been working together for 10 years. It's pretty
Can
incredible.
you believe that? A decade already. Time is
Yeah.
flying. We did get one question here from Di.
Oh.
She asked, how many subjects do students take? And would it be the same number for students starting in September or February?
Oh, excellent question. Students take 4 subjects, and they take the same 4 classes every day for a semester. So September until the end of January, they would take 4, and then February until the end of June, they would take another 4.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
No
Always great to
problem.
see you. Hope to see you in person very soon.
Yes.
And we will be in touch. You're welcome to stay, Kirsten. It's up to you. I'm sure you have many things you need to do, but we are going to continue on. I believe we have Joe in here somewhere from Coast Mountain.
Perfect. Thanks so much for having me. Take care.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your day, everyone.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Can you
There
see
he
me there?
is.
How
I
you
just
doing?
spotlighted you. Yeah, you're taking up my whole screen. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Oh, sorry about that. Whoa, here.
It's great to see you. Thanks, Joe, for joining us. I don't want to take any of your too much of your time, but I did just want to mention to our partners that you're a newer destination for us. I believe this is our second year of working together, and we've been really happy with the cooperation so far. So very glad that you're here, and appreciate you taking the time. And the stage is yours.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. I think I'm in Mexico right now. It's
That's
been
right.
it's kind of fun with the Alfie event, but I'll share my screen as well and try and do this in the 15 minutes.
Yeah, you've got 15 or 20. We built in an extra 5-minute buffer, so don't
All
worry.
right.
I'll let you know if you start to go over.
Perfect. Can you see I'm using my globalized platform here. Can you see
Yes,
that thing?
yes, I can see it.
Beautiful. All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. As James mentioned, I'm Joe, and yes, we are a fairly new district. This is our second full year of operation, and our program is growing quite rapidly. We are currently hosting 32 students, and we have 16 more coming. And I just heard some of the questions, James, that you were throwing, or some question being asked to Kirsten if they had space. We actually do not have space for February 2026. It's great. It's a good problem to have, and we actually have some more homestay families that are joining as they are hearing about the success of the program and the experience that most of our host families are having with our students. But let me tell you a little bit about Terrace. I know the first thing that people say, where is Terrace, Kitimat, Prince Rupert? It is where the crow flies. It's actually only about 600 kilometers northwest of Vancouver. We are coastal. And again, everybody always thinks, oh, it must be cold over there. It actually isn't. It's only about a 5-degree difference to Vancouver weather because we are, again, by the coast. We are surrounded by the beautiful Coast Mountain area, and as well as we have rivers and oceans. So there's as you can imagine, all the outdoor pursuits that you can think of, we do have. So I'll just show you pictures of where I actually live. So this is actually Terrace. It's a little a community of approximately 18,000 people, just includes the surrounding area. This is actually taken not too long ago because it was fall. And then this is Prince Rupert right here. So Prince Rupert is right off the west coast. This goes into the Pacific, and it's quite again a pretty little town with a lot of tourism in the summer as the Alaskan cruises stop by over here and where they spend their money. So, and Kitimat is, I'll show you shortly here. So this is one of our schools. I'm sorry for the blurry, terrible picture. This is Caledonia. Caledonia is in Terrace. There's approximately 650 students here, grade 10 to 12. This is actually where the majority of our students are right now. All 29 of them are here. And that being said, I'll just let you know that we've actually had the past couple, 2.5 years, we have had students from Germany, Netherlands, Italy, Japan, Spain, Andorra, India, Switzerland, Vietnam, Brazil, and Chile. So it's quite a diverse group of students we have, which is awesome. That's what we're striving for. This is Kitimat right here. This is Mount Elizabeth. This is in this community, there's approximately 8,000 people. And in this school, there's about 500 students. This school is grade 7 to 12, so it's a smaller cohort of grade 10 to 12 students. And we actually have 4 international students currently here. And then James, I know I haven't told you yet, but this is just new development for our program. We actually just added this school right here, Charles A. Secondary, which is in Prince Rupert. There's about 12,000 people there, and they do have over 600 students as well from grade 9 to 12. So I will be placing students here in January, actually, so which is awesome. I just want to show you this picture right here because this is a special group of students to me. These are my very, very first cohort I guess almost 3 years ago now when we started the program. So I thought I'd show that to you. This is their farewell gathering at the lake where we were able to do some water skiing and jet skiing and stuff like that. Now, I know that it's already been mentioned, James mentioned that Canada, it's you can't really go wrong with Canada because there's so many different landscape that you'll experience wherever you decide. But in BC, these types of activities that I'm going to show you, these are very much in our backyard. You don't have to do a whole lot of planning. We just outside the door, you can go mountain biking, start climbing a mountain, and you go hiking. Again, you don't have to drive very far if you even drive. But these activities, these are actually taken by some of my students and as well as I did. This is the outdoor education class is very popular. So these are some of the things that they do. So from rock climbing, and then schools have their own class set of canoes. They're able to do canoeing during the summer months or April, May, June. And some of the hiking activities that do. And sometimes, it is a great thing that sometimes students actually run into bears. So one of the things that we do offer during the orientation is just bear awareness because they will see wildlife. We are surrounded, we coexist with wildlife, so they will see bears. And then again, that's actually one of the bucket lists of all our students is to see bears. And then why do you ask, why is this bear white? It's not a polar bear. It's called a Kermode bear, and it can only be found in our area. This bear is actually from a black bear family, but for some reason, they turn out white, and they only exist in our area. And one of the most popular things that we offer in our area, 30 minutes, the big ski hill is 30 minutes away. And actually just last week, I took students to a ski swap. So all of them, they're like, Joe, it is so much cheaper to buy skis. Some of them were able to get skis, boots, as well as poles for under $200, and I was able to get them a discount at the ski hill at a price of $350 for a season's pass. So my European students are like, holy smokes, for $500, I actually have a full set of gear and everything. And they're like, well, that actually is only a weekend in Europe. So they're like pretty stoked, and the ski hill is going to be opening in 3 weeks here. So they're so happy about that. And again, just some of the photos that some of our students last year took in our ski hill. And I know that we do have the best powder in our area. So just to let you know that I always tell this story because it's quite cool. We do have people like Tom Cruise that come to our area just for heli skiing. Of course, our students can't do that because of insurance purposes, but if you can see the type of powder that we get in our area, James, I know you're a skier, so you're probably liking this photo right here particularly.
That's
It
beautiful.
is quite something. It is quite something. And then just some activities. These are some Brazilian students. This is the first time that they've seen snow and have been skiing. And to me, that what makes it awesome is to see a student experience something for the first time. This is, again, a bucket list. I've never made a snowman, so they probably will never be able to do this in their home country. And then the other thing, last year, we did have a cold snap last year. I think the whole North America did. So our lakes froze. And again, this is only about 20-minute drive from where we are. So this is a pretty spontaneous thing. We just tell students, hey, can you get your host families down at the lake? Let's go skating at the lake, kind of thing. And then I usually bring some kind of food so that they can enjoy it. Again, and this particular photo right here is pretty special. Like what makes our program quite unique is we are surrounded by Indigenous peoples in our area. So if you see all those little things right here that this kid is shoveling, these are actually fish. These are oolikans. So what they do, this is a cultural activity. What the Indigenous people do that they were able to, they were kind enough to have us take part in it, is they extract the oil from these fish and they actually drink the oil from it. Apparently, this is the healthiest thing for you. It was also a very special smell. It wasn't my jam, but it was a good cultural experience for our students. And after that, we came home with buckets of fish for us to try. They also quite often invite us to feast and celebrations, and I know that a lot of these kids don't have an understanding of what the real Canada is, and this is it right here. We get to live it in our area because of the richness of the culture that we have in our communities. And the other, again, the great outdoors, these are just some of the field trips. These two girls right here, this is actually their second day in Canada. I just so happen to have a boat. So I'm like, hey, well, before we go to the airport, one of them is staying with us. So you'll see, you might see her photo a little bit, quite a bit. Their second day in Canada, they see a black bear. I don't know if you can see that little black dot right there. Of course, I didn't get too close. The black bear fishing, so that's pretty special. And then this photo right here, these girls are like, Joe, they're like, we've seen this before. I'm like, where have you seen this? In commercials in Germany. So I'm like, okay, you guys get to live this for the year that you're here with us. So pretty cool. And just here are some of the hikes that we've done. Again, all of these things, all of these photos are within 20, 30-minute drive from our communities, not too far. And they're pretty excited. If you look at the faces of these students right now, the photo that you're looking at, they are pretty happy to be where they are. This is just one bus, and our program is quite personalized. So I actually got my bus license because I'm a former teacher and as well as administrator, and I like to be involved with the kids. I like to get to know them. So I'm actually their bus driver, their tour guide at this point right here, and we have a few trucks behind me that are following because I couldn't fit them all in this small bus. But they were pretty happy to be here. Just some of the hikes, and these kids are crazy right here because this is glacial water that's melting, and it's not, but they decided to go for a plunge, so it was awesome. And here, the first photo, this is some of our students this year in our little hike. And again, a first time for Leticia here. We have a lot of fishing. We live in the fishing capital of BC. So most of our students are able to experience something like this. And this kid is like, well, I just want this for my IG, but she's actually vegetarian, converted her to eating fish. So I'm like, hey, yes, success. And she said the only reason why I eat fish in Canada is because there's no smell. Apparently, fish in her home country is not as fresh as this, and I believe her. And the next slides are just photos of students in action. So I have the privilege of having a small program and going around and actually seeing what the kids are doing. And I had an agent visit a week and a half ago from Germany, and she was able to see her students in action, which was really cool, from being in the band or in the weight room or doing metalwork activities. And this photo right here, they just finished a Terry Fox run, and this is pretty special right here. So I tell our students when they're selecting courses, I'm like, hey, you know what? We have a plethora of courses that we offer. I would like you to pick something that you have never done or that you're never going to take back home. So this kid, Laura, right here, the first day that she was in the class, she told me, she's like, I'm not sure I'm comfortable with playing with blowtorch. Well, you're not playing with blowtorch. I'm sure your teacher is teaching you how to do this. And then the second the second time I visited her, which is 2 days later, I asked her, "How's it going? Do you still want me to remove you from that class?" She's like, "No, no, no, no. I want to thank you. This is the best class ever." This is a jewelry making class, and she's learning how to weld and how to use blow torches to cut things. So she's quite happy with that. And here are some of the activities again in our area. So we do have horseback riding. And then back to the school, we have food classes. This is quite popular because especially for growing boys, they get to make the food and eat it. That's to them, that's the best part. We have band. Some of our students, again, they bring their instruments from their home countries, and actually, they told me like, well, how big is your band class back home? You're like, well, maybe 10, 15 at most. And so our band class, they have about 40 to 50 kids that are in the group. So they're so happy about that, and they get to go on a big trip once a year. Last year, they went to Toronto to compete. So opportunities for travel there. And then this is just the PE class that we have. Some of our international students from the Netherlands. James, actually one of these boys in the green. Thank you for harm. He came from you. And this photo right here is pretty special. These are just well, they're not just our international students, but they are our local students as well as new immigrants. So I shoulder tapped a teacher 3 years ago to start an international student club, particularly for students that are brand new to our schools. And in the first year, there's about 30. Last year, there's about 50. This year, we saw over 100 students sign up. It's a club that to make sure that all new students in our schools have a sense of find a group so that they can find a sense of belonging. So which is really, really cool. And of course, it wouldn't be Canada if we don't have potlucks. So we do this quite often with this group. And just some of the field trips that the kids have taken. This is in Prince Rupert. And then right here, it didn't capture some of the writing. This is actually the first time that these kids have ever gone mushroom picking. So this is pretty cool. Took them mushroom picking. And then after that, we actually cooked all the pine mushrooms. I told them we can actually sell these for $20 a pound. They're like, and they wanted to, but I'm like, no, no, no. I want you guys to try this and eat them. So it's pretty cool. And this is, we do have musical production. This is quite popular next year. I know a lot of our international students that we have signed up for 2026, 2027 are taking this course because they're able to not only to be a part of the production, but some of them are a part of the construction of and part of the music, like with the band and as well as the singing. So it's pretty cool. And again, just some of the activity. We do have a mountain biking club as well. And I failed to mention, we do have all the sports that you can think of. We have a golf academy, basketball academy, soccer, rugby. Pickleball is gaining popularity. And we also have a lot of activities within the community if we don't have it in the schools. And a homestay that I want to talk about. So this is probably, like I tell our homestay family, you guys are the backbone of the program. Without you guys, we can't do this. And it's been awesome to have a quality homestay that I've signed up. And again, more and more people are signing up because they're having a great experience with the students that we currently have. So it's been awesome. That's why our program is growing. And lastly, I just want to show you this. I know you can see this all over Canada, but this is pretty cool to when our students see this. Actually, about a month ago, I told the kids at 10:30 at night, I have a group chat with them. I told them, hey, you guys all need to get outside. They're like, why? It's 10:30. I'm like, just do it because you're going to see something for the first time that most of you have never seen. And this is what they saw. And it was pretty cool. And then they started posting all their pictures. I just took one photo to put into my presentation. Well, that's all I have. I think I did pretty good there, James, with my time. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I think you did fantastic. You are perfectly timed. We did have a question that Kirsten answered, but I think it would be good to have each of the districts answer just in case it's different. I know sometimes there can be slightly different structures. She asked, we have one of our agents in Brazil asked, how many subjects do students take, and would it be the same number starting in September or February?
So students typically will take four in each semester. However, we do have courses that run outside of the timetable, such as our golf academy and as well as our basketball academy. They run in the morning so that students are actually to take up to nine, and some of them actually take 10 because the band, the concert band or jazz band, it runs outside of the timetable as well. So, but that's too. I wouldn't recommend that because that's just too much.
Have you had international students do those academies, and how were their experiences?
The basketball academy, yes. So far, so good. Mo if they take again, it depends on the level you mentioned, depends on the level of their if they're high level athletes, if they're basketball
Mhm.
players, they're in the academy, and then they are also a part of the team. So they actually they at the end are like, okay, I remind them, do not get burnt out because you're in the academy and then you practice after school and then your game's on the weekend. I'm like, you need you need a break from it as well. So
Yep.
I tell them, okay, you need to just, I know it's pretty exciting to be able to do all these things, but it's going well.
Good, good. And then we had one other question actually. They said, thanks for your presentation. This is Rodrigo from Brazil as well. Are you flexible to consider students with ADHD or that have had anxiety treatment or conditions in the past?
We have considered them before, and then I'm actually taking a student from Japan with ADHD. Again, it would be, of course, with our partnership, it's always good to be completely transparent. And I'll be honest with you, if we it can provide the support for that student, absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah, that's exactly how we tend to approach it as well. We try to gather as much information as possible about the student, understand exactly what it is they need, just to ensure that we can support them appropriately in whichever area they're seeking to go. So that works great. I don't see any other questions, and you are right down to the minute. We do have, I mean, we have a 5 minute buffer between, I think Phil is here, so if there are no other questions, we can move on. One new, okay, that's it. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, so no other questions, Joe. Thank you very, very much for joining us from Mexico in between all your meetings at Alfie. I hope you have a great conference and that you're enjoying your trip. I did see a globalized post of you out to lunch with some of the agents there in Mexico City, I think a couple of days ago. So it looks like it's a great trip so far.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, James. And I'm hoping to see you next month.
Yes, yes. Talk to you soon. We'll get that sorted out. Looking
All right,
forward
take
to it.
care.
Take care. Okay, so up next we have Phil Carney from the Algonquin and Lakeshore Catholic District School Board.
Hello there. Can
Oh,
you see me?
yeah, we can. Thank you so
Wonderful.
much, Phil. It's great to see you.
So much,
Thanks
James.
for joining.
Thank you. I'm just going to share my screen here. Maybe you can just confirm that when you see it, if that's all right.
I don't see the presentation. It says you start up there it is.
You got it now?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Now, just present this. So I guess I could start by maybe just addressing those two questions. First was the amount of classes a student would take. So we're very similar to the previous presentations. We're a semestered system. Students in grade 9 right on through to grade 12 typically take four classes rather per semester. Semester runs from September right until the end of January and then resets February until the end of June. Students in grade 12 sometimes, domestic students, would have 3 courses instead of 4 just because there is room in a grade 12 timetable to take one less class to focus in on preparing for university and college acceptances. So that's kind of the end, the skinny of it all, so to speak. We do have availability certainly though for students to take in grade 12 all 4 courses, and I would say with international students that's most common to do 4 and 4. And next question I think was about ADHD and anxiety. Yes, we do. ADHD is quite common, and our schools are well equipped to accommodate that. Those diagnoses, and it's quite normalized. We have many great supports I'll be able to speak to in our the presentation here. And with anxiety, typically with a medication for anxiety typically is done at home, but if medication is required at school, there's a little form we just fill out, and we would store that in the main office of the school, and a student could come and administer that themselves. It'd be stored under lock and key. So just think that's the two questions that were just asked. Is that right, James? Was there anything else?
That's it. That's all we've gotten so far. We'll go through your presentation. Maybe it'll elicit a few more questions.
Wonderful, wonderful. So,
Thank you.
thanks for your time, everyone. It's great to be here. Thank you, James, for the opportunity to speak and promote our program, tell you all about the wonderful things happening in our area. So we're in a opposite side of Canada that Joe was just in. I always love watching, listening to his presentation, seeing those lovely pictures, and then following up with, providing information about our own very unique experience that we have in Ontario. So this is actually a first picture, just a representation of our international students. In this presentation, we have a mixture of many different countries here, which is very much reflective of our program. We draw from about 9 different countries right now, and some years it'd be upwards of 11 or 12. So in this picture alone, we have Germany, we have Italy, Mexico, another Italy, Germany, Spain, to South Korea, Brazil in this picture alone. And that's just from a couple days, or sorry, about a month or so ago, one of our program excursions. So why Algonquin? Well, in the presentation, I'm going to basically touch on all of these qualities about our program, facets of our program, that we are in prime location. We do have quality education. Our homestay is internally run. I'll speak to that sooner rather than later. Trusted communication and leadership in how the program is run, and I'll speak specifically to my experience and our staff. It is a unique Canadian experience, access to the big city, but also very, very close proximity to some of that picturesque Canadian landscape, resources and supports both in our program and in individual schools, and very deliberate work to ensure a smooth transition to Canadian life. And as a school board, values that appeal to the masses. So I'll be able to tell you more about that. Our location, we are directly between Toronto and Ottawa, which is quite nice. We're about equidistant to Toronto and Ottawa. Our school board is 3 different cities, 5 different schools. So from Trenton to Belleville to Kingston. Kingston is our biggest city of about 140,000 population. 2 high schools in Kingston, uptown and downtown. Belleville has 2 high schools. Belleville's about 35 to 40 minutes away from Kingston. 2 high schools in Belleville, Midtown, and kind of in a newer development of town for the second school. And then Trenton. Trenton is about 20 minutes from Belleville, and all of these cities are linked right along the waterway. Trenton is home to Canada's largest Air Force and military base. And with that comes its population is about 30 to 40,000, a smaller town, but certainly not, certainly has lots of big city amenities. Who you meet when you work with us? Well, I'm the principal of the program, and I'm the custodian of all of our students. Alex Shilton is our coordinator in the West, and we call them program coordinators because it's not just homestay that they help coordinate. It's also our excursions and just the management of everything. Mary Claire Jensen is a coordinator for the East. All 3 of us have known each other for a long time. Actually, Mary Claire and I went to high school together about 100 years ago, it feels like. But we're all work very collegially together. Aside from being employees of the school board, we're also parents of children in our system. And so in Ontario, there's a lot of different, there's 4 different options that people can enroll their children in. And so those 4 options, we have a public English school board, and on all 4 school boards, 4 types of school boards are open access and publicly funded. So there's a public English, there's a public English Catholic, there's a French Catholic, and French public, all of which are open access and publicly funded, and I'll explain a little bit about what that means. But in essence, when you meet us, we have one kind of common email address, international@alcdsp.on.ca, and that reaches all 3 of us. And depending on the inquiry and the question or the request, you'll get one of 3 of us respond. In terms of the Catholic, there's always a little bit of debunking need to do with this because a Catholic school system, very important to note that it's not a private school system. It's publicly funded. It's one of 4 different options in Ontario. As an administrator of 7 years now and in the system for 14 beyond that, we always draw from various backgrounds for students, both for our domestic and international students. We have values that appeal. Our academic excellence is absolutely known with all of our schools, French immersion, international baccalaureate, STEM. There's academic rigor and specialized programming in all 5 of our high schools. Development of character, certainly an emphasis on discipline, respect, and community. We have a school uniform. And you know what? As an administrator, I would regularly welcome students from private schools who choose at their grade 9 year to jump to our school system because there are very similar values seemingly that align with what they had in a private school, which is interesting. We certainly have robust support systems that support everyone in our system, both domestic and international. And our staff in all of our schools and our support staff are certainly well connected, forward thinkers, worldly educators. I've had the privilege of having lived and worked in and been very closely connected to all 5 of our high schools and all 3 of our cities. All are welcome and all belong. That's our kind of general motto of our school board. And with international students, there's recognition that there's very much a unique experience that they bring to us, bring their own unique customs and traditions, and at some point might be a little nervous about venturing so far away from home. We have wonderful supports in place to accommodate this. The most, I think, important in this discussion are our student navigators. So we have a student navigator program, which are student volunteers, domestic students in every school. Partnered up, they meet students on day 1. They partner up with our international students and help show them, so to speak. They help them with their locker and their courses and connect them to some of the localized clubs and sports and teams in every school. And on top of that, once those navigators have established that connection, they come with us on our program excursions. And with that, then are suddenly shared experiences and more of an authentic and genuine linkage socially with students. So it's nice. This navigator program helps address students who might be nervous about meeting friends and belonging and fitting in. Our navigators are on the ground level and really help on the day-to-day with students integrating into our school communities. We have WhatsApp groups for every school that connects with students, and things are going quite well. We've had most of our students this year actually choose to extend their stay to the full year. Things are going so well. Students that were cautious and a little nervous about venturing internationally for schooling. Every school has a dedicated guidance counselors, and they prioritize international students, particularly at the beginning of the semester, just knowing that there will be some unique questions and some coordination with agencies and with families to ensure that their students are taking the courses that they need and also that they want. We have our internal homestay program. This is something we're quite proud of. These are our families that we have vetted ourselves. We have very high expectations of that we're very closely connected to. We match our students with homestays that work well based on their profile, their desires, their family life, and what they're hoping to get out of the program. Depending on the language level, there are ELL, MLL supports in every school to support that English immersion. Sometimes, depending on the student, that might be higher of a priority, the development of their English skills. Some people that come to us have already quite developed English skills. They might choose to go into a mainstream English course. That's totally fine. And high academic standards too. We always want to make sure that students are on top of their studies, that they're making things count, so to speak, so that they can then have a seamless reintegration into their home schooling, their home country's school system. Clubs and trips, very important that we provide the full experience for students. By nature of being in 3 cities, we have 3 cities that are pretty closely connected. It's great to feature each of our 3 cities for localized trips. It's amazing to see, although these are optional, it's amazing to see that everyone seemingly is coming out to all of our trips. They always do. There are lovely reasons to get together. And like I said, this is nice to have our navigators as part of this as well, because those shared experiences often come right back to the school and deepen that connection with domestic students. Our program excursions, the big ones that we do one big one each month and at least one small one per month as well. The big ones, Niagara Falls, Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal. Again, by nature of our prime location, we are in very close access to make these day trips up and back and still have a very fulsome experience. This year, we are actually planning Montreal, though, to be an overnight trip. And the overnight trip will be fully inclusive of seeing Old Montreal, a lovely part of Canada, and very historic as well. And our plan is to take the train up in between semesters. The local excursions, semi-pro hockey games, maple syrup in the county, Christmas markets, walks to see, festive city decor, lots to do in all 3 of our cities. Our global citizenship program brings international and domestic students together to learn about different cultures, to help the students share their culture with homeschooling and with the homeschool rather, and with our domestic students. And that just helps in general everyone be on the same page and learn from one another. International education, as we all know, is such an enriching experience for both international and domestic students. And this global citizenship program is a deliberate effort to bring people together to learn alongside one another. Our navigator program, as I said, we have that represented in every single school, and these navigators are integral to the smooth integration of our international students into school communities. All of our homestay families have criminal reference checks. They do a home inspection. Again, we hand select these people. We do an interview with them. We visit their home. We ensure that they have proper insurance, that they have their own separate bedroom with a desk, with storage, with a bed, that there's internet access. And we, as I said, we have very high expectations. It's important that the homestay families don't do just the bare minimum being room and board, but it's also working to provide that Canadian experience in partnership with the program. As Joe had mentioned, they're very much an extension of the program and very, very critical in the success of our program. And so therefore we have high expectations. We are in very, very close connection with our homestay family because we know that that is a huge part of the student experience. We do celebrate all seasons, and students do have wonderful access to both the big city, but also to nature. In this picture alone, this is actually reflective of all 3 of our cities. Some of the most beautiful waterways in all of Canada, beautiful beaches, are located just south of Belleville in Sandbanks Provincial Park. If you were to Google that, you could find all about that. That's within very, very close proximity to both Trenton and Belleville schools. Some of historic Canada, Kingston is actually Canada's first capital city. It existed long before Canada did. And so there's a lovely history and beautiful architecture in Kingston that is always quite desirable and appealing to students. Always take the opportunity to get together with students, letting them know that, it's not just they show up, they attend school, and they don't hear from the program. We are in very close connection with them, and always ensure that they know they have access to mental health and well-being supports. Our program coordinators and myself as the principal, we prioritize getting to the schools every single week, making ourselves available and staying in connection with them. Some of our students do decide to pursue graduation in Ontario, and with that comes opportunities for scholarships as well. Our insurance plan is quite comprehensive. We are with Study Insured right now, and every program I know does a great job in ensuring that all students have proper coverage. As I said, we do celebrate all 4 seasons. These are pictures actually from this year. There's treetop trekking. There's Niagara Falls. Actually, sorry, this one here, bottom left, is from Ottawa. That's last year's. Niagara Falls was from this year. Our Ottawa trip is planned for February. But lots to do and lots of opportunities for students to have that fulsome Canadian experience. As an administrator, as someone in education for more than 20 years, I know the importance of frequent and consistent communication. Every second Friday, we have a newsletter go out that's shared with home agencies, with homestay families, and with students, and in turn, natural parents as well. This newsletter has information about things that we've done in the past week and a half, 2 weeks, things that are coming up that are happening in the next 2 weeks, as well as some helpful tips and advice, some things that are going on in all of the cities, what's happening in Kingston, what's happening in Belleville, what's happening in Trenton. And as well, there's some times to feature students and some of the great work and involvement that they've been in. So it's a very predictable and fulsome newsletter that is interactive with live links, with pictures, with video, and we share that very consistently every second Friday leading into the weekend. Our schools, put these student populations, I put those in there from a couple of years ago, but it's reminiscent and reflective of the fact that every single one of our schools is growing in population. Further to that, our international education program is growing in population. We had a 27% increase from last year to this year, and already signs that we will again expand next year with increased exposure to all the great things happening in our school board and in our program. Nicholson and Belleville 550 is now approaching 600. International Baccalaureate program, French immersion, and many great clubs and sports for students to join. St. Tricia, if this picture were to pan a little bit further to the right, it's neighbors and shares a parking lot actually with a hub in Belleville, which is it's the Belleville Wellness Center, and that has a Olympic-sized swimming pool that has some of our students actually joined the Belleville's competitive swim team. There are 4 hockey ice pads. There's a semi-pro hockey team as well. Lots of amazing things go on in that wellness center. 700 a couple of years ago is now approaching 800 in population, so it's again a growing school. St. Paul's in Trenton, which was 400 a couple of years ago, is 540 this year, so it's growing exponentially. It's always been known as that small school that makes a big difference. I worked there for 16 years as a teacher and vice principal, and it is such a lovely school. Actually, my wife still works there. It has that connection right away with students. It's a smaller school that really brings students in and ensures that no one's left behind. Everyone finds a place. Holy Cross, 1,100 a couple of years ago, is actually approaching 1,400 right now. It's where I went to school as a kid. So many great programs there, wonderful arts programs, sports programs, all of as all our schools do, they offer all of the science and math and STEM courses that are available to students in Ontario. Regi is Canada's oldest Catholic high school. Again, a long-standing tradition of academics, of athletics and clubs. It has IB, it has French immersion. It is a lovely school that is just booming. 1,100 actually dipped a few years ago when a new school opened down the street. It's climbing its way right back up to that 1,100. So many opportunities for our students, so much access to programming. With all the programming, with all the extracurriculars comes bonus of opportunities for students to travel with the school. It's not uncommon for arts programs to travel to the US, to travel across Canada for competition, for leisure. And we've had many of our students partake in those localized school trips. We are 5 schools, we are 3 cities, and 1 unforgettable Canadian experience. Happy to answer any questions you may have. Again, I want to thank you so much for the time to speak to you, and we look forward to welcoming more students in the future. Our program currently is about 60 students, and we anticipate next year being about 75 or so. So second semester, we do have room for students, not much room, more and more applications coming in, but again, would love the opportunity to discuss this further with any interested people.
Thank you very, very much, Phil. There actually are a couple of questions in
Oh,
the
sorry.
chat that I'd like to know. That's okay. One of the questions is regarding religion. Do students have mandatory religion classes or mandatory mass attendance?
Okay, so mandatory religion classes, no. Those are domestic students take one religion class per year, but our international students do not. And that's certainly predicated under the idea that there are lots of courses that students need to take, and our priority is ensuring that smooth transition into our school system and also back home. And so we work with all agencies and with all homestay families and home natural parents to ensure that students are taking the courses that they absolutely require. So in short, no, they do not. Not all our schools have masses every month. Some of them have like a liturgy, like really what the student would notice in a Catholic, publicly funded Catholic school system is that on the morning announcements every day, there's the anthem, there's a land acknowledgement, there's a morning prayer. Once a month, typically, there would be like some liturgy of sort. Might be a mass in some schools, but not even the schools that do a mass, they won't have them every month. And that is a whole school gathering. There's nothing forced about it for students in terms of their participation in it. But just like when the announcements are on, we ask students to pause and just be respectful of what's being said. And that's the very bare minimum of our expectations with students as well. That attendance, yes, but participation, no, that's okay. A lot of our students come from various backgrounds, faith-based and not. And like I said, that makes up more than half our population. So we recognize that.
Perfect, perfect. And then one question, which actually I can answer, was do are the school uniforms included in the program fees? And I know that at SMG
Yep.
we do include the uniform price
Yep.
that you gave us. What do they get in terms of school uniform for that fee that we include in our price?
Okay, so they get two bottoms, and that could be, for females, they might choose to wear the kilt and the gray pants, or they might say, I'm going to wear the gray pants, and then in the summertime or in the warmer months, choose to wear the uniform shorts. Those are included in it. For tops, they get two tops and one sweatshirt. The two tops could either be long sleeve and short sleeve, two short sleeve or two long sleeve, and then a sweatshirt as well. And the sweatshirt is like usually like a quarter zip.
Excellent. Thank you. Actually, that was a good question. I appreciate that question from our partner because I have always included the uniform, but I didn't know exactly what it included.
Yep.
So that's helpful to know. Thank you so very much, Phil. It was great to have you. Appreciate you taking the time. Very informative. I think we all learned a lot. And I'm looking forward to sending you some students very soon.
Wonderful.
And you do
Thanks.
still have space for February of 2026, correct?
We do. Yeah, we got a couple spaces in Kingston still, a couple
Okay.
more in Belleville, and I think about one, maybe two in Trenton. So,
Excellent.
yep.
Excellent. And I can say I actually visited Kingston a few years ago. I think it was before you had taken over, Phil, and
Yeah.
I loved it. It
Yeah.
really, I know you
Lovely,
had
lovely
mentioned
city.
that that's a really cool city, and I can attest to that.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Phil. Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, up next, we have my dear friend Tricia from Maple Ridge. Let's see, I see her. I know she joined. Yes. Gonna pin.
Sorry, James. Sorry, I just saw the IB question as well.
Oh yeah, sure. Go
How
ahead.
do you enroll in the IB program? The answer is yes, they can enroll in the IB program. It's important to note that IB is typically a 2-year, 2 school year program. So is it possible? Absolutely, it is. Coordinating that to align with their home school is sometimes a bit of a workaround to making sure that our IB classes align with theirs so that they can finish with an IB diploma. But we do have students taking some of our IB classes just as a one-off, and that's more than welcome. There's no fee to that. The fee is paid for IB exams. So we have a couple students actually taking IB math at the grade 11 level. It's the standard level math, university level math program. And so it's kind of treated as a one-off. So we do have some international students taking that.
Thank you, Phil. Thanks for that clarification. That's great to know. I don't think I realized that. I usually tell them they have to be doing at least a full year. So that's good to know.
Yep.
And thank you for catching that question. I'm sorry I missed it. Okay, Tricia, I see you're getting set up there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh,
Can
and I
you
can
hear me
hear you.
okay?
Okay. Yes. Yes, we're all good. I know we've already eaten into a few minutes of your time, so I am going to pass off to you. I will just say that I have worked with Maple Ridge for over 10 years and with Tricia for about the same amount of time, or if not that amount of time, very close to it. And we send them very many students. We have had great success with our students there, and we are so appreciative for all the support that we get from you guys. Thank you for being here. The stage is yours.
Thank you, James, for the lovely introduction, and good morning from Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows to everyone joining us today. I am really happy to be representing again this year, and we've worked very collaboratively with SMG for many, many years. So we have a great relationship, great communication. So thank you to James, Megan, Matt, and Sasha for having us again, and welcome to all the SMG partners who are joining us today as well. James, can I just make sure you have a good view of my presentation by screen? Is it okay?
I see it, and we can see like the side view as well. So we can see your two slides on the left-hand side of the screen and then the main slide that you're presenting. If that's how you want it, that's what we see. But if you want us to just see the whole slide, I think you have to do the start the slideshow. If you click slideshow and play from start, see if that works.
It does. Thank you so much. I was trying to do it from a home screen, so there we
Yeah,
go.
that looks perfect. That looks
Perfect.
perfect.
Okay, so thank you again for having me and for the introduction. I'm Tricia McCuaig, and I'm the principal with the Maple Ridge Pitt Meadows International Program with School District 42, located in beautiful British Columbia in Canada, of course. And I'm also the legal custodian for the majority of our students who live in our homestay program. So if you are new to Maple Ridge, I will just give you a brief introduction to the community. We are a combination of two communities that share a school district. And our location is ideal on the west coast of Canada. We have beautiful seasons, 4 seasons, and lots of opportunity for students to explore both the local community of Maple Ridge and Pitt Meadows, but also all around us in the greater Vancouver area. We are a short 45-minute drive to Vancouver, so many of our students like to access what's available in our local area, but also outside of Maple Ridge as well. And there's just a quick topical overview. So you can see there's many lakes and rivers and mountains, and we tend to be very outdoorsy in our area. So we hope that our students will also take advantage of all the opportunities to enjoy the outdoors here. But we have many other options for them offered at the schools and in the community as well. And I'm just going to play, we have a great community video. I'm going to play this video for you. James is going to let me know if you can hear the audio with it. And if not, I will be the narrator in this video for you.
No audio. Sorry.
That's okay. So I will help guide you through here. I'm just going to turn the volume down on my end. That's a beautiful waterway, Alouette Lake that you just saw there. That's about 10 minutes from my home. You can see we are a really nice blend of urban city life. There's an example of the downtown core of Maple Ridge. And also, as I mentioned, right by the mountains with a lot of access to the great outdoors. We have lots of options for students, including fitness centers, a leisure center with a swimming pool, skating rinks, a movie theater, and lots of restaurants and shops. This is just a little view of a couple of our schools here, including Westview Secondary and Maple Ridge Secondary. and to some of the course options that are available to students to choose from. Some of our students come for a short term, meaning 3 to 5 months. Others stay with us for a full year or through to graduation. And so, of course, a university pathway from graduation would be supported by our school staff as well. So as I mentioned, students really don't need to leave the Maple Ridge Pitt Meadows area if they don't want to. Everything they need is available here. We have 6 high schools and 475 high school international students who join us from up to 30 different countries every year. So we are very experienced at welcoming students from around the world and provide a great multicultural experience that Canada is very well known for. But our own students contribute to that diversity in the schools. I like to mention that the benefits to our Canadian resident students from having an international program, as we've had for over 30 years in our school district, our local students get to meet people from all over the world, and some of those relationships can last a lifetime, which is part of the reason that international education is so welcomed in our school district. We include everything in our program. The priority is the education experience, of course, but as I mentioned, the homestay experience is really critical. And as they are minor children and youth joining us from other places in the world, we really rely on our homestay families to provide that day-to-day care, support, and supervision. But our school staff is also amazing. I've been in our school district for many, many years. I will not share how long exactly, but I have great relationships with the administration and the teachers in all of the schools, and they truly, truly do try to make sure our students have the best experience and go above and beyond in trying to connect them to activities and answer any questions or respond to any care requests that the students might have. And we also, of course, include medical insurance as part of our overall program package. Here's just a quick glance at our 6 schools, starting with Pitt Meadows Secondary, moving to Samuel Robertson, which is our newest and smallest school. Thomas Haney provides a very unique learning opportunity for students. It's called self-directed learning, and many of our students enjoy that really different experience. Westview and Maple Ridge Secondary and Thomas Haney are all centrally located schools. Garibaldi is next, and finally our largest school, Maple Ridge Secondary. Thankfully, having 6 high schools allows us to provide a really wide range of course offerings and special programs and academy options. So your students might just choose to come because they love the location, or they can rely on the high quality education experience that British Columbia offers. But also there's really very interesting special interest electives, and I've named some of them here for you. We do suggest that our students have a core academic program that includes a math, an English, a science, and a social studies class. But we also offer multiple different languages, including French, Spanish, Japanese, and French immersion, and multiple different athletic course options, including competitive sports, or not, if students are more interested in yoga, dance, or golf, or intramurals just for enjoyment and fitness. That's fine too. As well, special interest sports academies that tend to fill fairly quickly. There's a high interest for those in basketball, soccer, softball out of Garibaldi, and ice hockey at 2 of our schools. And finally, the elective classes, including fine arts, applied skills, technology. Really, there's very little we cannot provide with a special interest request, and I'm used to getting those from James on a regular basis, so please never worry about that. We have an IB school if you have a student interested in attending the middle years program or a 2-year graduation program with us. They would graduate with a BC Dogwood diploma and an IB diploma if they wanted to participate there. Microsoft IT and interdisciplinary arts out of Garibaldi. We did a FAM trip last spring and then one specifically with SMG recently, and did visit Garibaldi because of the amazing theater that they offer at that school. It's a professional theater. And so any students interested in dance, acting, stagecraft, directing, it really becomes part of this huge school experience when the students put on an annual production. This year is 9 to 5. And last year, I'll just mention, was Mamma Mia, and we had 5 of our students participating in lead roles in that opportunity. So whatever our local schools offer to resident students, it is also open to international students. I mentioned some of these special sports academies, but of course we offer school sports by season as well. And so I've listed some of those there. Again, there's quite a wide range. And I always recommend to students that if they come with an interest and a passion, we're going to help them get connected to that. But it's always great if they try to explore something new at the same time. So connecting to something they love is going to allow a great social connection and maybe a faster way to meet other peers and connect with people. But also trying something new is really going to help them develop as an individual. And I'll just give a really quick example of the young lady in the bottom picture there with the Ridge Wrestling jersey on. She actually came to our school district because she wanted to participate with the cheerleading club that runs out of Maple Ridge Secondary. And her gym coach managed to recruit her into wrestling at the same time. So she had this great different experience of cheerleading, which is something she came for, and wrestling, which I think really shocked her and her parents, but she managed to go on and compete at a provincial level in wrestling with us as well. Clubs and activities range by school. And again, I'm not going to go through each school there, but I just wanted to give you a snapshot of the opportunities. They do sometimes change and evolve every year because volunteer teachers are the ones who end up running these clubs and events through the school level. So if you have a long-term teacher that really loves to fish, maybe they're going to offer a fishing club for students. And another example, if you have teachers interested in facilitating leadership for our students, maybe students want to join the Model UN Club or a debate club or a student council or a student leadership group. So if students have a hard time connecting to anything, there are school counselors and staff available to help them do so, but it's pretty clear at the school in terms of communication. There's always daily announcements. There's social media that the students can follow at the school level. And the schools just really become this dynamic environment that our students love to be a part of. Volunteering, I should also recommend because it looks fantastic on a resume and perhaps on a university application later down the road for the student. And also, again, it provides them with one more way to connect with people in the community in a positive way. I mentioned our student support is very strong in all of our schools. If students need language support, they are provided with that, either as a class in their schedule or outside their timetable. But they have the same access to counselors, administration, and their teachers that anyone else could expect in our school. We also have a specialized international education teacher on site at all 6 schools. in case students aren't sure of who to go to or where they can seek help to a question or get additional support. They can speak with that teacher liaison. And that's the teacher that lets us know too if there's anything that we need to know about with regards to how the student's doing. And then we would, of course, directly share that with SMG staff and over to you to make sure we're keeping really good open communication. I should also mention that our students have 8 classes in our school district. We are linear from September to June. So even though we do multiple points of entry, including September, February, and April, students are enrolled in 8 classes, and that gives them a really nice variety and a balance between their academic classes and their elective classes. So this is just an example of what a schedule looks like from Westview Secondary. So you can see the students start at about 8:30 every morning and they finish at 2:40, allowing them quite a bit of time after school to do homework, to do a club or an activity, to connect with friends. There's a nice balance to our day here in British Columbia in our schools. And also that little block of time called flex time, there's some student choice within the day as well. So that would be a period of time where they would be able to seek additional help from a specific teacher, maybe work on a project with a partner or a group. So there's that balance between student responsibility and learning about yourself as a student, developing your study skills, but also a structure to their day that they would expect in any other high school across the province. And then I like to share with students the difference between going to school in Canada, maybe, and going to school in their home country. One of the reasons probably they choose Canada as a study destination is just because teachers really encourage critical thinking. They want to hear the student's opinion. They want the student to be able to ask a question freely and to be able to connect their learning across the different subject areas. Our homestay program is amazing and really provides the great opportunity to just communicate directly with us as a one direct communication process. Our families live in the Maple Ridge Pitt Meadows area, and we do follow the Ministry of Education K-12 homestay guidelines quite carefully. I was actually on the committee to update those guidelines this year, and we take the placement of a student in a home very, very seriously and really try hard to do a great match at the beginning so that the student feels the home is a good environment for them. We have a wide range of family and a wide range of students. So our homestay coordinator job is to take a look at the student information. So as much as you can tell us about their interests, their preferences, their maybe a special allergy or dietary consideration goes into the decision making around who to place with each student for our homestay coordinators. We also provide 7-day per week support. So 2 of our coordinators work Tuesday to Saturday, and the other 2 work Sunday to Thursday, which allows us to cover all days because, as we know, sometimes we need to get involved on a weekend as well, depending on the student or the family. All of our families undergo a really strict screening process and onboarding process. And there's just a couple of pictures there as to what a typical home looks like in Maple Ridge. There's a wide range, so I always suggest students really keep an open mind because they could end up in a 1-level home that is maybe a little bit bigger, and we call that home a rancher, or they could end up in a 2-level home or a 3-level home with a basement. And it's very common in British Columbia to have a basement and to have bedrooms in that basement area. I know that's new for some of our students, but good for them to keep an open mind. We also have a homestay video available if you have parents or students who are a little bit worried or nervous about living with a family in a different country, I'd be happy to share that video to provide a bit more information for them. And so in addition to the school activities and the homestay um, uh, activities, whether they go out for, with a family birthday or an event, or they might show their student around the Maple Ridge, Vancouver area. We also offer monthly trips to our students, and this is just a great way to have a bit of a tour experience at the same time as a resident experience. So if a student wants to try going to a Vancouver Canucks hockey game, they can do that. We take them to Whistler. We take them to Victoria, which is our capital city in BC, and they're welcome to sign up to one of these trips or to many of the trips. It's up to them. We just like to provide them with the opportunity to see as much as they can while they're with us. And our longtime partner, DC Tours, provides these trips, but we always send a chaperone from our program as well. And I just wanted to end with a picture of our program staff. I'm here with you today, but as you can see, we have a big team that looks after our students and looks after you, of course. I have a manager, an assistant manager, and a vice principal, along with the homestay coordinator team and our clerical team. So we are here to support you no matter what you need. As James knows, I think our speed of communication is strong, and as well, our student support is very strong in Maple Ridge, Pitt Meadows. So looking forward to working with you all in the future through SMG. And thank you again for having me today, James.
Thank you so much, Tricia. I can absolutely attest to the quality of the support, the quality of the homestays, the quality of the schools. We have worked very closely with Tricia and her team for many years now and had such great success with our students. And we continue to. I think we have the most students we've ever had for Maple Ridge this year. So it just keeps getting better and better. We did have one question, Tricia, that I wanted to ask you. It was about the online high school program that I think maybe you mentioned briefly at one point. Is there an online school that they can do from their home country, or is that only for students that are like supplementing courses in Canada?
So yes, that's a great question. In the province of British Columbia, in order to take a ministry course online, the student actually needs to be living in the province.
Okay.
So it's definitely an option for a student if they want to add to their current 8 classes to be able to maybe meet a graduation requirement, or maybe their homeschool has a specific requirement that we offer online. They're welcome to take that. However, we do consider previous student learning. If a student wants to join us on a graduation program, we do apply external credits from their history of learning toward their graduation program, so that they don't have to attend a full 3 years in the province, which is our graduation program years 10, 11, and 12. We can definitely look at a 2-year graduation program or even a 1-year graduation program
Right.
for very strong students of course, strong in English as well.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you for clarifying. Thank you for joining us. Great to see you. I'll talk to you very soon. I'm sure you'll hear from me probably within the next 24 hours if I had to guess. But thank you again for joining us. Very much appreciate it. Last but not least, we have Claire from Delta School District. It's good to see you again, Claire. Let me get you spotlighted.
Thank you, James. And good to see you too,
Yeah.
Tricia. Tricia and I have spent lots of time together on the road, so nice to see Tricia as well.
The Canadian districts travel in packs. That's what I'm seeing
Exactly.
from time to
Yes.
time.
Yeah. So it's
I kind of sometimes bully my way into the pack a little bit and hang
Yes.
out with the Canadians.
So nice to see you, James, and I see some of your SMG staff here, and I also see a number of agents that I know well and work with through your organization. So it's great to be here. For me, it's early in the morning. I know it's a little later for some of you. Am I ready to screen share here, James?
You should be, yes. Take the floor. I know we ate into your time a little bit, but you are
That's
last.
all okay.
You are last, so you can go, as long as you need to. You don't have anyone waiting to go after you. So take your time
Wonderful.
and,
Thank you,
and you can have
James.
your full 15, 20 minutes for sure. You're
Perfect.
welcome.
I'll check the time just to be sure because I
No
like to talk
worries.
about my program. It's something that I'm proud of, and I like to talk about our city.
Please.
So need to set myself on a timer. My name is Claire George, and I'm the district principal of international programs in the Delta School District. And Delta is just outside of the Vancouver area. A little bit about me personally. I've been working in education in Delta for 21 years as a teacher, as a librarian, as a vice principal, as a principal. And I have my own two daughters who are 6 and 8, who I just dropped off at school. And they are in a French immersion program, which has given me a lot of insight into students trying to attend school in a language in which they're not familiar. Those strategies for language learning, but also for keeping an open mind and trying things that are difficult. I know you've been hearing from people this morning from all over Canada. Canada is sometimes known as a very cold and snowy place. But like Tricia in Maple Ridge, we are located in the southwest corner of Canada, just outside of Vancouver. You may have heard of Vancouver, world-class city, hosted the Olympics. FIFA coming next June. We're all very excited for that, our students especially. Delta is a suburb of Vancouver and is located about 20 kilometers or 30 minutes drive from downtown. It's also 20 minutes away from the international airport with many direct flights to Europe, to all over the world every day. Delta is again in the southwest corner of the Vancouver area. And what this means for us is that we actually have the most mild climate in the Vancouver area. There are mountains up in West Vancouver and North Vancouver that our students like to go for skiing and snowboarding, but it also causes rain around that area. So I find that Delta has 40% less rain than the rest of the Vancouver area, which we enjoy very much. The temperature in Delta ranges from about 5 degrees in the winter to about 30 degrees in the summer. So we have beaches and parks in the summer that our students and families like to enjoy. There are 3 communities in Delta: Tsawwassen, Ladner, and North Delta. And if you have ever visited Vancouver Island on the ferry, you will have been through Delta to get on the ferry to Victoria. And sometimes you can see orcas and other marine wildlife on that trip. All of our communities have a variety of schools in them. We have 7 high schools across Delta, and all of them welcome international students, and students are welcome to choose between those high schools on their application. Oftentimes, a student will have certain strengths or interests, and agencies or parents will work through SMG and through us to get a recommendation on a school. But all of our schools welcome international students. This is a beautiful mural that a local artist has in downtown Ladner, and it shows a bit of the whimsical and quaint nature of our town. Even though we are close to a big city, we are a very quiet, clean, safe, family-oriented community in Delta. And Gary Ney, who did this art, also does art for our brochures, which we can send to you through SMG if you would like paper copies of our brochures as well. Despite the fact that we have a small town feel, we have many activities, amenities, and programs. We are not a very, very rural farm community on the outskirts. So if your students are looking to be very isolated from a city, we would not be that program. We are a suburban community, so about 30 minutes from downtown, and we have many community centers, recreation centers that our students get a free pass to go swimming, skating, working out at the gym. We have a world-class gymnastics and swimming facilities in our community. We have a beautiful big shopping mall that our students really enjoy. Parents sometimes don't enjoy as much the credit card bills, but we have designer stores as well as Sephora, which is very popular, and a food court that the students really like to spend time with food from all over the world. This is some pictures of what Delta looks like. The only exception is the skiing and snowboarding picture. I mentioned the local mountains, which are about an hour away, but those other pictures are all in the community of Delta. Our beaches, our calm and quiet streets with over 100 cafes and restaurants, many different shops, parks. We have 7 golf courses. It's also a very flat community, so many students ride their bike to school and ride their bike to meet friends. In the center of Delta is a huge protected park that students enjoy mountain biking, hiking. We have beaches and a river close by. We've had students that are world-class rowing competitors that have practiced on a rowing facility on our local river. So we are a quiet and safe community, but we are only a 30-minute drive from downtown Vancouver and all of the shopping and concerts and events that a big city has to offer. Generally, people in Delta are very permanent. There is not a lot of movement in and out of the community. Many people who live in Delta have lived there a long time. In fact, my parents went to school in Delta. They were high school sweethearts and went to South Delta Secondary. And again, now I am back working in the community of Delta, which is a typical story. It's a place where there are many young families and many retired people with beautiful houses and beautiful gardens. Delta is characterized by a low crime rate and a very high education and socioeconomic demographic. Our families are generally English speakers, and as I mentioned, have lived in Delta for a long time. We have a number of teachers who were students once in Delta and are now teachers and even homestay parents for our program. We offer a variety of programming, short-term, long-term, graduation, and summer. We offer a September intake, February intake, and a limited April intake, as well as our summer programs. And I heard Tricia talking about graduation in Maple Ridge. You will hear a lot of similarities between Delta and Maple Ridge. They are about an hour drive away from each other, but we also follow the same British Columbia provincial curriculum, which is a very high-level curriculum. Our teachers are highly educated, usually require 2 university degrees to become a teacher in British Columbia. And we follow the same curriculum as a student would traveling to Maple Ridge. If you are sending students to Canada, regardless of which district they end up in, they will have a wonderful experience. We pride ourselves on being both an incredibly welcoming country to different cultures, a country that is built on immigration and thrives on immigration and visitors, but also a very strong high-level curriculum that the graduation diploma is recognized around the world. In Delta, there are 16,000 local Canadian students. There are 7 secondary schools, and secondary is from grade 8 to grade 12. And so your students that come will be in classes with regular Canadian students. And again, they can choose any of our 7 high schools, depending on what their priorities are, both in terms of academics and in terms of extracurricular and elective classes. Our schools range from 800 students to 1,500 students. So it depends on an individual and what they would like, whether they are more suited to a small school environment or a large, busier school environment. We have one of the highest graduation rates in the province and very small ESL populations in our schools. Most people in Delta are native English speakers. We welcome international students from over 35 countries, and that is growing. We tend to get 1 or 2 new countries every year. Here are our 7 secondary schools. Some of our schools offer French immersion programs, advanced placement classes in math, in sciences, psychology, art history. And we do have one IB school as well, International Baccalaureate, and that is Seacwim Secondary that offers the diploma program. I mentioned our schools range in size from 800 to 1,500 students. In a typical school, you will have mostly Canadian students, usually around 90 to 95% Canadian students, and then 5 to 10% international students from a variety of countries. And we are careful to balance our international students. So there are not too many students that speak a certain language in any given school. It's lovely for our students, for example, if they are German, to have a German friend in the first few weeks, to talk about the difference in school and culture and to have someone to reminisce if they're homesick. But generally in their classes, they will be with mostly Canadian students. Here is an example of what students will be doing in our schools. You see in that big picture there is Jim with a big smile and no hair. He is our district vice principal. He also went to school in Delta. And each of our schools has an international coordinator. So we have our staff. We have 18 staff members in our office supporting students 24 hours a day. And then in each school, we have an international coordinator who is in charge of the international students at that school and who we communicate with daily, sometimes hourly. And students can go to them for all of the little concerns or questions they might have, like when is the basketball practice, or I lost my cell phone, or when is the next international program activity. Each of our schools also has a homestay coordinator. So in that big picture, you see Michelle, and she's one of our homestay coordinators she lives in Delta, and her daughters also went to school in Delta. All of our schools have wonderful academic programs, high-level academic programs. You will find the same math, chemistry, history, English literature classes in all of our schools and, in fact, all over British Columbia. I mentioned the International Baccalaureate program, AP programs, French immersion. We offer ESL support at all different levels, and that is included in tuition and is in our classes and is with our local teachers at the school as well. It's not a separate pull-out program. It's often integrated with an English class. Students will take an English class, and then if they need added support, they will have an ESL class that supports their English homework. All of our schools have career university advisors, counselors for students to speak to if they're having any emotional difficulty, if they receive bad news from home, if they're homesick, and qualified teacher librarians at every school to help our students with resources and research. All of our schools have a ton of extracurricular activities. I heard Tricia mention all of the sports at her schools, and you'll find similar in Delta, as well as different clubs. As Tricia also mentioned, normally our students take a balance of academic and elective courses. We have 100 elective classes in Delta, ranging in the arts from jazz choir, stagecraft, to specialized photography, film and TV, 3D animation. We have metalwork, including jewelry work and automotive technology, woodwork, marketing, e-commerce, professional culinary arts. Many of our schools have a professional teaching kitchen, as well as a professional theater where a show is produced every year with the students doing the directing, the lighting, the stagecraft, the acting, and the costume design. We have criminology, psychology, languages of all kinds. So your students will find something that interests them, maybe something they are excellent at. And then we always encourage our students to try something new as well, that they're possibly not familiar with or not as confident in. Because one of the big benefits of studying in Canada is that we have choice courses that may not be available in their home school. So we encourage students to really branch out and try something new. Delta School District has an outstanding reputation in Canada and the world. And we are fortunate to say that we just were recognized by Study Travel as the top school district in Canada. So we're very proud of the support we offer students that resulted in that recognition. Here is an example of our students arriving. Students generally for a September intake would arrive in August. We have many levels of support for new students. And this starts with a Zoom that we do with students before they arrive. Students, agents, and parents are welcome. And we provide this Zoom in a variety of languages. We talk about how to prepare to come to Canada. We talk about what the first few days will look like. And we talk about the mindset, keeping an open mind, being friendly, saying please and thank you, which always results in a positive first few weeks. Then we have a registration session at our main office between students and their homestay family. And then we have a school orientation where students come in and meet the other international students, the school staff, they play games, they write something in English so that we know we're providing the right English support. They get a tour of the school, they get a locker, they learn to use their locks, and they make lots of friends. And then finally, the Friday before school starts, we do a big field trip to Vancouver in the yellow school buses, and we visit a big market and a big park and do some sightseeing. So by the time students start school, they have friends, they know who to call for support, and they're excited about their first week. This is our staff. I mentioned we have a large staff at the school board office, but also at each school. And we distinguish ourselves on 24-hour support and very quick response time. You see Karen in the middle of that picture. She is our director. And Jim and I on either side. We're all educators. And between us, we have 77 years of teaching and being principals and working in this department in Delta. Israel, our marketing manager, speaks Spanish, Portuguese, and Japanese. And we also have Brent, our homestay manager, who also organizes our activity program. Here is our homestay staff, homestay manager, and 4 coordinators. Everybody lives in Delta. Everybody knows the community well. So we organize our own in-house homestay program. And it's really important when you have students apply with us that they tell us what they want in a family. Do they want a quiet family, a more outgoing family, a family with young children, or a quieter family, perhaps a retired couple? I know from having young children myself that young children can be fun, but fairly noisy. So please make sure your students let us know what they like. Do they like pets? Are there any sports and activities they're interested in? Because we make sure to make a good match, a personality match between your students and our families. Because school can be similar all over the world, but it is their family and community experience that really makes a difference. We always love getting pictures from our homestay families of the ways that our students have joined their family. And many of our students keep in touch with their homestays for years and years afterwards and come visit. And we've had our homestay families go overseas and visit their students' family as well. And we love to hear those stories. We also have an activity program. We run monthly activities to Whistler, to Victoria, to Vancouver to attend hockey games and football games. And we also run a 4-day trip to Banff to the Rocky Mountains. We run our own activity program. We do not use a tour company, so it is all of our staff on that program with the students. I mentioned Brent, our homestay manager. He drives the bus. This is a great opportunity for our staff to really get to know students, to see them in a different context, and to talk to them and learn about them as people and have them get to know us as well. On the left there is one of the parties that we have at our schools for our students. And then on the right is some of our elementary students involved in Sports Day. So students that come to Delta have a wonderful opportunity to get involved in school, but also in the community and with friends. And our teachers love having international students because of the perspective that they offer. because of their eagerness to get involved in some of the extracurricular and elective classes. And our families and communities really enjoy welcoming your students for the different perspectives and sometimes the cooking advice as well. It's welcomed in Canada. So we look forward to welcoming your students. And of course, I'm happy to answer any questions through James or through SMG. We always enjoy our partnership with you guys, and we hope to see you soon. I know we saw you last year, but hopefully we'll see you again soon.
I think you'll be seeing me again soon, and you know you're always welcome here in New York as well.
Well, I hear you have a new mayor, so I'm excited to visit.
We do. It's exciting times. Yes. Okay, so there were actually a few questions that were asked of other districts that I want to also give you the chance to answer. I think the answers might be very similar. One was how many subjects do students take, and would it be the same number for September and February?
Yes, good question. So we have both linear and semester schools in British Columbia, and we have both linear and semester schools in Delta. So in a linear school, you take your classes, 8 classes all year long. And in a semester school, you take 4 classes every day from September to January, and then a different 4 classes every day from February to June. So if you have a student that is coming for the full year, they will take 8 classes no matter what. If you have a student that is coming for half the year, you will need to decide linear or semester school to know if they will take 4 or 8 classes. And that will be the same in any school in British Columbia. And then there are also some classes that's limited that run either before school or after school, in addition to those 4. For example, we have a number of specialized sports classes, not quite academies, but similar. Basketball, soccer, volleyball, dance that sometimes run before or after school. Likewise with some of our bigger theater or choir or band programs.
Excellent. And then we had a question. Are you able to consider students with ADHD or with a history of like anxiety, depression? I know it always depends on severity, but what's the general policy for Delta in that regard?
Generally, the policy is we cannot accommodate students with more moderate or extreme learning needs. And the reason for this is that there is provincial laws around how many students with designations can be in each classroom. We also find to really, really carefully consider your students and your children when you're sending them abroad. I know all of us in this industry have seen students with a history of anxiety or mental health concerns that are stable. And they are stable because they are in their own country with their own families, their own language, their own food, their own friends. And I think about my own children. I have 2 kids. One would be very suited to studying abroad. She's 6 years old. She's ready to go all over the world already. And then my 8-year-old would not be a good candidate for studying abroad because she is a little bit more shy, more anxious. So consider your students carefully, consider children carefully, but especially with Delta, because we run our own homestay and custodianship, we are not comfortable taking on students with psychological or learning needs beyond what a normal student would require in terms of, occasional school-based counseling or, occasionally having a bad day or some tears. But we want students to be in the best situation possible. And sometimes that situation is with their own parents.
Of course. And then the last question regarding the dance academy, does that include ballet?
Yes, it does. So we don't actually have a dance academy, but what we have is a specialized dance class at 4 of our schools. So one of their 8 classes, one of them would be dance, and it includes all different dance mediums. But if you have a student interested in dance, let us know as well, and we will place them in a school not only with a dance class, but close by to a community dance program, because we have 5 or 6 amazing world-class community dance programs. So students could dance after school and on the weekends, 5 days a week if they want.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much, Claire. It's great to see you. I can tell everyone here, I have visited the area of Delta. It is beautiful. The schools are fantastic. The homes, the community is terrific. And we've had dozens of very successful students in your program over the years. So looking forward to having more.